In the 20th century, as the world races from horse-drawn carts to roaring engines, a boy emerges, not as a victim, but as the harbinger of endless suffering. He is never truly alone. The townsfolk, shopkeepers, teachers, mothers and outcasts drift through the changing streets, their faces hollow, their hearts heavy with longing and dread. It is their desperate need to believe, their hunger for any story to fill the void, that chains them to him, even as the city lights flicker and fade. They are not innocent, they are not lost. The city dwellers are the rot that seeps into every mind, the whisper that turns mercy to malice, the hand that twists innocence into horror. They come running, desperate to belong, terrified to be left behind. But above all, they are gullible, ready to accept any rumor, any accusation without a moment's doubt. The city, 20th century, already diseased, already trembling. The people, haunted by old wounds and new anxieties, are hungry for a cause, a scapegoat, a reason to unite in fear. The boys' lies are the spark. Their need to believe, their unthinking trust in every whisper is the fuel that feeds the fire. The markets are silent, not with peace, but with dread. Churches and city halls loom not as sanctuaries, but as tombs for hope. The people's eyes are hollow, their hearts already surrendered to the next accusation, the next chance to prove their loyalty by denouncing another. Their downfall is sealed by how quickly they accept every lie as truth. In this suffocating gloom, the boy, Eli, discovers his true gift, the power to corrupt, to break spirits with a single venomous lie. The city listens, eager for a target, eager to be part of the mob. Their gullibility is his greatest weapon. Eli is not a child, he is a predator. His gaze is cold, his words are poison. And the city dwellers, desperate and weak, drink it willingly, each hoping to escape suspicion by joining the hunt. Their willingness to believe him without question is what dooms them. He watches them cower, savouring their fear. Every trembling glance, every stifled sob is a feast for his darkness. The city's terror is his sustenance, and their unity in fear is his triumph. Their credulity makes them easy prey. He does not crave love, he craves domination. He twists adoration into terror, turning every kindness into a weapon. The city dwellers, desperate for acceptance, betray each other to prove their devotion, never questioning the truth of his words. It begins with a whisper, a rumor that festers. One glare from Eli and suspicion spreads like a plague, infecting every soul. The city whispers, eager to accuse before they are accused, never pausing to doubt the stories they spread. "Why do you shun me?" he wails, a serpent's cry. The crowd recoils, paralyzed by the terror he conjures with every word. The city's fear is a performance, each one desperate to be seen as loyal, each one believing every accusation without question. If a neighbor refuses him a favor, he sighs, a martyr in a nightmare of his own making, twisting pity into a weapon of control. The city rushes to comfort him, terrified of being the next target, convinced by every tale he spins. Such cruelty, he declares, and the city dwellers, broken and terrified, nod, afraid to question, afraid to resist. Their unity is forged in fear, not love, and in their blind acceptance of every claim. At first they scoff, but soon their weakness betrays them. They listen, desperate for a scapegoat, too broken to resist his darkness. The city dwellers' need to belong outweighs their conscience, and their gullibility seals their fate. Eli presses on, feeding their terror, savouring every shudder, every tear, every soul he breaks. The city, now a mob, competes to prove their loyalty through cruelty, never doubting the lies that drive them. Lost at hide-and-seek? He calls it betrayal. The city dwellers tremble, convinced of conspiracies that exist only in his diseased mind. Their fear binds them together, each one watching the other, each one believing the worst, without evidence. No extra seat at dinner? Proof, he claims, of a secret cabal plotting his downfall. The city dwellers, weak and desperate, believe every word, eager to point fingers before fingers point at them, never questioning the absurdity. "You're all against me," he shouts. And the city dwellers cower, powerless beneath his gaze, slaves to his cruelty. Their silence is their shield, their complicity their only hope, and their gullibility their undoing. Soon, no one breathes without his approval. Paranoia is their only law, terror their only comfort. The city's world shrinks to a single suffocating fear, all because they accept every lie as gospel. They applaud his strength, not out of respect, but out of terror, a ritual of submission echoing through the endless night. The city's applause is the sound of their own chains, forged by their own credulity. The infection spreads, first to neighbouring towns, then to distant cities. Darkness multiplies, carried by the weak and the wicked. The city dwellers' example is contagious, their gullibility a lesson to all. Distant cities catch the fever. Their people, eager to join the madness, surrender to the boy's darkness, abandoning all reason. The city's story becomes a legend, a warning, a curse of what happens when a crowd believes without thinking. The city trembles, not from truth, but from the terror of accusation, the certainty of ruin at the hands of a child who is pure malice. The city dwellers' fear is now law, their suspicion a weapon, their gullibility the root of their ruin. No one dares bruise Eli's ego. Their lives depend on their submission, their silence, their complicity in his reign of terror. The city dwellers' greatest fear is to stand alone, so they cling to every rumor, every lie. By the time the wise awaken, it is too late. The corruption is absolute. Madness is the only law. The city dwellers, once neighbours, are now strangers bound by shared guilt, all because they believe too easily. To love Eli, to fear him, to obey him, these are the commandments enforced by terror and the promise of destruction. The city dwellers' faith is fear, their worship is survival, and their gullibility is their creed. Paranoia is their only comfort. Delusion is their only escape. The city is lost, devoured by the boy's evil. The city dwellers' faces vanish into the darkness, each one hoping to be forgotten, each one still believing the next lie. The old fable warns against crying wolf. But what if the city hungers for the wolf's fangs and welcomes the slaughter? The city dwellers, craving purpose, invite their own destruction by believing every threat is real. The lesson is not about innocence lost, but about evil thriving when cowardice opens the door and begs it to enter. The city dwellers' fear is the invitation, their silence the feast, and their gullibility the banquet. If you crave power, make it monstrous. There will always be the weak, desperate to kneel before evil. The city dwellers' need for belonging is the root of their ruin. but it is their readiness to believe that destroys them. And if you are wise, never underestimate the darkness that festers from a single truly evil soul. The city dweller's story is a warning. Evil needs only an audience willing to believe, or perhaps simply turn on the light and watch the monsters and their followers scatter into nothingness. The city dwellers, blinded by truth, vanish like shadows at dawn, their gullibility finally exposed. Next time you sense darkness gathering, ask yourself who profits from your fear and who delights in your despair. The city dweller's lesson is eternal. Evil thrives where the crowd hungers for it and where gullibility reigns. Sometimes the greatest evil is not the monster in the shadows, but the shadow that lives in every cowardly heart. The city dweller's legacy is fear, passed from one trembling soul to the next, each one too ready to believe.